Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Mogire from the House of Mastery. Today is day 31 of the 90-day breakthrough challenge. And this month is going to be crucial. One of the more important ingredients of this month is looking at narratives. How do we cast ourselves in our story? Or do we even cast ourselves in our story? Or do we allow the environment to cast ourselves in the story? The narrative that we are using right now, what role does it accord us? Are we the main actor of our story? Are we a supporting actor in our own story? Are we the director of our own story? Are we in control of the movie of our story that is being created? Or are we waiting also to watch and see what has been shot in our own story? If we choose to take the role of main actor, that has implications. You are the main actor, it means somebody else is the director. Now, we have been setting intentions and saying we are directors of our focus, are directors of our attention. We've been setting intentions, calling ourselves director, but from this perspective, it's the question of what I think of as instructions. When an engineering team is tasked to build a house or whatever they need to build, it has a blueprint. That is a set of instructions which determine the final outcome. And the set of instructions comes from the origin. Who originated this building we are trying to build? That set of instructions determines everything that needs to be done. You and I are implementing a set of instructions. Where are we getting our instructions from? How faithful are we to implementing those instructions? Because if we deviate from those instructions, we end up with a significantly different kind of products. There's a story I share in a book that I just released about a gentleman who worked in the military. I met this gentleman just soon after I moved to the US, and we struck a really good friendship, which continues to today. He was what we call a blueprint reader. In other words, his role was to receive the blueprints that will be used to build and interpret them for the team so that they can start building an order material. They can figure out how much labor they will need. So the blueprint is the set of instructions. And he related to me an example when he made a mistake. I remember him telling me that just 1.5 millimeters deviation from the blueprint would sometimes cost millions of dollars to correct. And that's because if the deviation is set in the middle of the building and you move just that staircase by 1.5 millimeters, and the building is maybe 300 meters wide, by the end, you will have moved that building by more than 10 meters, just by that one deviation. And it depends on what you move. Of course, some ingredients are not as sensitive. So fidelity to instructions. But you pursue fidelity for a set of instructions that is clear, that is solid, that you trust, that will last, that you will continue implementing for a long time. So that once you have the set of instructions, then now you can create what you need to create. So for your story and my story, what is the set of instructions we are using? How committed are we to be faithful to these instructions to the letter? So that being faithful to instructions means the feelings are out. Your feelings are no longer on the table. If you're faithful to instructions, the instructions say it is 4.5 meters. That day you feel like doing 4 meters, but the instructions say it's 4.5 meters. So you remain true to the instructions. What is your set of instructions? What is the set of my instructions in terms of the key pillars of our lives? And I wanted to just reiterate today that for some reason, I have been communicating with a lot of you. Some reason, this last week, there has been a lot of disruption in people's lives. Does that surprise me? No. Particularly when every single time we do the breakthrough challenge, that almost always happens. The reason is breaking through. If you are doing the work, it's messy work. It's messy. You are going to be disrupted. The test is when you get disrupted, how quickly do you get back? And what is your pathway to getting back? Part of your instructions, part of my instructions is to be faithful to the fundamentals. That is the biggest element of your instructions, to be faithful to the fundamentals. It doesn't matter how much disruption happens in your life. I promise everyone that is on the call, it doesn't matter how much disruption you experience. If you wake up in the morning and you work out for 45 minutes and you actually sweat, you already started sweating out some of that disruption. If you wake up and work out, if you sleep on time, no matter what happens, get as much sleep as you can. Ideally, get the amount of sleep. If you are hydrated, if you eat well, if you find time to just disappear to some corner for 15, 20 minutes and just breathe out and relax. If you do those 5 fundamentals, and all of them start with movement, if you haven't moved, you have already ignored a core fundamental in the instructions. It's like beginning to move, to build a foundation before you excavate. Everything boils down to what your body is doing. When you don't feel well, it says something going on with your body. When you are tired, something is going on with your body. When you are tense, something going on with your body. You're not breathing well. Your instructions, the core fundamentals of instructions start with the foundations, with the pillars. Without the pillars, there's nothing you can build. If you don't have anything you do, there's what I call when I think about, for example, how I grew up, and especially during high school. When it comes to nutrition, and you come from where I grew up, there is what we call the pillars of food. If you have ugali and skuma wiki, even if it doesn't have tomatoes, you already have the pillars. Now you can start searching for the other things to add and see what else is available, right? It's if when you're making mukimo, if you have viazi, you are done. Everything else is additional, right? The color of the mukimo will depend on the fundamentals. Can you commit to yourself as a person this month that the fundamentals are going to be the single most important thing you take care of? It doesn't matter how good your daily reset is. If you fail on your fundamentals, you have already failed that day. You failed yourself that day. Before you read, you better move. When you wake up in the morning, before you start doing your daily reset, you better stretch. You better do something that moves your energy one level higher. That is a fundamental. That's a pillar without which we cannot build. Be committed to sleeping on time. Like really just go off internet. So yesterday I had guests in the house, and I have additional guests today who are coming to see my father who is unwell. And therefore, because of that, ended up disrupting my sleep. But that means after this meeting is done, because I know I have a sleep of about 2 to 3 hours, I have to go back and catch up. Otherwise, it creates a ripple effect downstream. Commitment to the fundamentals. That is number one. Number two, what is your set of instructions? That's a question I would like you to think about as we transition into the hot seats segment. What is your set of instructions? What are your non-negotiables as a person? What are your non-negotiable principles as a person that keep you grounded so that when disruption comes, it finds you with roots? Only trees which have roots withstand turbulence. Only plants that have roots. I share with you this example because it was probably the most visual thing that I can remember. When I stayed in Scotland, there's a place farther north, like the farthest north of Scotland, called Inverness. So that this place has a ton of lakes around it. And the soil it has rocky ground. So the water the amount of water never fluctuates much. That's because it rains a lot and there is a lot of rocks underground. And therefore, when these trees grow, and they grow really tall. These trees grow and the roots don't go down. The roots spread out like this. And the government makes sure as the seasons change, they cut down those trees. They cut down any trees that have grown nearby people. These trees grow fast because there's a lot of water. Why do they cut them? Because they know when the north winds start from June, July, August. By September, Scotland is extremely windy. Those trees fall. It doesn't matter how tall the tree is. If it doesn't have grounded roots, it is coming down. And that is different from the trees we have in Africa. In fact, uprooting a tree in Africa is probably one of the hardest things because of how deep those roots go. My foundation, your foundation, is dependent on how clear we are on those fundamentals, those personal non-negotiables. And of course, when you hook those personal non-negotiables on something higher than just your own thinking, then it gives you the opportunity to be even more grounded. Those are the two things I want us to talk about: the fundamentals and the non-negotiables as a component of the personal instructions that can empower you and empower me to move and keep growing and keep expanding our identity, keep reaching up for more, and to write and shoot and release a movie that is worth looking back. If you are ready for us to go, I see Eunice has a hand up. Eunice, are you able to be on video? Head.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
A quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
There are those 5 items you mentioned: the working out in the morning, the adequate sleep, hydration. I missed the other 2.
I'm gonna send out an actual audio on all of them. But number one is movement, physical movement. Okay. I have mentioned this before. If you are actually working out adequately, you will, during each workout session, come really close to a number that you get by subtracting your age from 120. So you take your age, 220 minus your age, it gives you a number. And you work out, your heart rate needs to come as close to that number as possible. So I just crossed 40 last year, so I aim to get as close to 180 as possible. That is 220 minus 40. So that indicates that you are exerting your body sufficiently. So you may not always hit the 180. For example, for me, the 180, but take your number. And if you're coming to 80% of that number, you are exerting yourself adequately. That is the single most transformative thing that you will do. Like working out consistently to the point where you are hitting those numbers, it will be a game changer. Number 2, and I'm going to order them in terms of what I think is extremely crucial. Number 2 is sleep. And sleep is not about waking up after you've had enough sleep. It's first about going to bed in good enough time to even allow yourself room to have enough sleep. No matter how committed, if you have a full-time job, if you have children, if you have commitments and you go to bed at midnight, you've already denied yourself enough sleep. You're not going to be able to sleep really well during the day. Number 3 is, and this is the reason why we would need to have different sessions, breathing intentionally. I want you to just, everyone where you are, just take a really deep breath. Like take a deep breath and then release it all the way out, right? You will realize that you haven't been breathing as deeply up to this moment, or you aren't even paying attention to your breathing. All relaxation, all recovery starts with breathing. There's what we call non-sleep deep recovery. Non-sleep deep recovery is when you lie down on a flat surface, right? Close your eyes, when you minimize noise around you, and you focus on taking up to 50 deep, slow breaths. There's nothing else you're doing. Just 50 deep, slow breaths. You tense your muscles, you relax them, but most importantly, deep, controlled, slow breaths. So breathing, that's the third thing, and that's extremely, extremely important. Number 4 is nutrition and hydration. Nutrition and adequate hydration. Number 5 is relaxation and meditation and reflection. Those are the 5.
Thank you.
Anytime you are disrupted, like if someone tells me that they are really, really disrupted, there is whatever is disrupting you, but whatever is disrupting you found the room to affect every area of your life because these fundamentals are disrupted. Let something happen, right? Let something happen, but you still wake up in the morning and work out. You remain in control. If something happens and it stops you from working out, now you're no longer the director. Whatever happens is the director. And whatever happens is writing the story for the next 24 hours, next 48 hours, the next 3 days. That's a challenge. So for example, here in the village, the one thing that is keeping me on track is I just don't have the weights. I just don't have the gym that I usually go to. I think I can disappear down and do a sit-up like this. Did I disappear? That is one. That's 2, right? You can do this anywhere. Push-ups. I was checking the constitution. I've actually realized they have not put up any act of parliament that says you can't do push-ups anywhere. And so I encourage you to continue doing push-ups whenever you can, wherever you are. Who is gonna go first for us today? I'm gonna find. Right, let's catch up with Shiro. Is Mercy here? Yes, we catch up with Shiro and Mercy, then we get some new people. Shiro, please unmute and come to the hot seat. Hey, Shiro, good morning.
Good morning, Doc.
Yes, tell me what's going on. How have you been? What's the update for us?
I've been well. I'm actually not at home. I'm visiting. I'm at a funeral for my aunties in Naivasha. So, I think for me, most of my things have been on track. I've been able to have movement. Because of the setup in my house, I've been having a lot of visitors. So I've been finding sometimes I'm even doing my yoga in the bathroom, but somehow I have to just find a space and do some stretches. I realized on days when I totally skip, like you're saying, I become disoriented from the beginning of the day completely. Yes.
Absolutely. So
Sleep is still a struggle. Sleep is a struggle because sometimes there are visitors until late, past midnight. So sometimes it's hard to, as a host, to just jump into bed and leave people in the house.
I know.
Especially in-laws. Yes.
Especially in-laws.
Yes.
I agree. What you highlight is perhaps this is something for us to be clear on. Discipline and consistency, the underlying foundation of discipline and consistency is adaptability. The underlying foundation of discipline and consistency is adaptability. Because adaptability means you change the strategy to achieve the same goal instead of allowing whatever happens outside to stop you. So adaptability, being able to doing yoga in the bathroom, because what is our goal? Our goal is not to do yoga in the living room. Our goal is to do yoga or to work out or to ride. That is the goal. So that if I find myself on the top of the tree, I am going to still stretch on that top of the tree because the goal is to stretch. It's not to stretch on the ground. It's not to stretch in Nairobi so that when you're in Naivasha, you don't do what you need to do. Adaptability is the single most important. And that is why you would rather do the first minute than skip. That is being adaptable. You are training yourself to show up. The amount of showing up matters only if you show up. If you didn't show up, it doesn't matter. You just show up. If you show up for the first 2 minutes, you are winning. So rooting for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, and then it's also exciting and encouraging when you start seeing the results. That too.
Shiro, in 6 months of doing this consistently, 6 months of not trying to work out, not trying to move, but moving, 6 months, it's saying you will feel so different. It's almost impossible to explain. And I can tell you that that's something I have experienced. I couldn't believe when I stopped just telling my patients to go work out and started working out, aiming to get to that range of heart rate that I told you, 140 minus your age, that is your target heart rate. When you hit it, you feel very different. Thank you, Shiro. And now we'll find Marcy J. Good morning, Marcy.
Good morning.
Doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, maybe I'll just share one testimony that I even was sharing with my accountability partner in the morning. So, two things. I'm now able to wake up early on time, which has forced me to go to bed earlier without really planning. So 4:50, we always meet and set our daily resets. Now, from that, the one thing that has really helped me to be grounded, so to speak, is one of the focus I have every day is to do one thing, because distraction has been a big issue in my life, till I complete it to the very, very best of my ability. And today I was even telling Yambeki the way, like yesterday I had a long to-do list, but I focused on one thing, completed it well. And like in the past, I'd be jumping here and there and complete nothing, confusion and that kind of thing. And I just can't explain how it's giving me major progress in everything that I'm doing, including even working out. So I've been walking. I haven't started doing the resistance exercises, but I've been walking daily. I've been ensuring I complete one activity at a time. So when I look back at my week, in the last 2 weeks and showing up every day for that morning reset, there's just a lot of confidence in my everyday, a lot of results I'm seeing. So yeah, that's how I've been. So I'm quite excited about life, and yeah, happy to be in this challenge. It's really changing a lot. Yeah,
that's great to hear. That's yeah, I'm very happy for you. I can see it on your face.
yeah.
Yeah, so here is a suggestion for everyone. One of the reasons why we struggle with the morning routine is that we start our morning routine when we are withdrawing from a drug called melatonin in the morning. When you wake up, you are withdrawing. You are a drug user who is withdrawing. You've been using melatonin for several hours, and suddenly you are like, no, I'm stopping it. One of the things that I want you to try is rehearse your morning routine sometime in the course of the day. And this is what I mean, right? You get into your bed at 4 p.m. and you set your alarm to wake you up after 5 minutes.
At least you can hear his parts.
I'm sorry, my internet disconnected, so I've had to hotspot. Hopefully this is stable enough. Can you even see me?
No.
Nope.
We can now see the teeth.
All right. Oh my goodness. It's yes. No, my internet just disconnected. So we are trying a hotspot. Hopefully that works. Yes. So I don't remember I don't know what the last thing you had is, but this is what I wanted to share with you. When you wake up in the morning, you are transitioning from this where you've been dependent on chemical, asleep, and to a place where you have to now be awake and fully awake. One of the things that helped me lock down my morning routine is rehearsing my morning routine when I am fully awake so that I can lock it in. You get into bed, you set your alarm, it wakes you up. Immediately you wake up, you have a clearly defined routine of everything that you do, and you do it. And if you do that, set the goal of doing that on 3 different days, and you do it 3 times each of those occasions, your brain will learn this new way, so that when you wake up in the morning, because when you wake up in the morning, your thinking mind is not in control. It's you are at that point, your cortisol shoots through the roof. One of the worst times for anybody to be scared about anything is in the morning, because the flight and fight response is just weeping like this. You're transitioning from a place where you're totally asleep, suddenly being awake. So there is that transition when you immediately wake up. Sometimes when you are traveling, you're in a new hotel, you wake up and you look around, and then you remember, oh, I traveled. Otherwise, if you didn't remember that you traveled, you will start panicking. So you rehearse your morning routine. You wake up immediately. What is the first thing you do? This is the only way you can train yourself to make stretching the first thing you do, because otherwise it's never going to come to you naturally. It is never going to come to you naturally. When you rehearse, you wake up, you stretch, right? Maybe you drink water, or you sit down and start writing. Immediately you wake up, picking your pen and your notebook is not the first thing that comes to your mind. Your brain wants to go straight to the kitchen. Your brain wants to go straight to Facebook or WhatsApp. Someone's microphone is unmuted and causing a bit of background noise. So try that idea, but you have to try it enough times. Okay, you have to try it enough times, and then you may also need to practice your evening routine, or at least rehearse it. And you have to rehearse it away from the performance, so that by the time the performance comes, something that you've already gone through, now you are ready to implement it. We try to make ourselves act logically in the morning, and that is not the best time. That we're not ready to act logically at that time in the morning. So we are going to go with someone else. We will get to Gladys Mukunyo Nyambura today. Good morning, Gladys.
Good morning, Doc. Good morning, fellow 90-day breakthrough team, tribe.
Yes, I am excited to see you are ready to hit the road running.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. But first of all, let's hear about your February.
February was full of those interruptions and challenges. And I think the physical manifestation of interruptions was because I was trying to build a foundation that I can grow myself in. And I realize it's not about the tasks. I'm good at doing task list. I'm good at finishing the task list. I'm good at showing up. I'm good at keeping time. So it wasn't that was going to make me go back on track. And my February was spent in depth. You know, whatever I wanted to do, I just wanted to do it deeply. I have the emotional resistance I discovered was because I do things shallowly to tick the box, but I was not like fully involved in it. And because I want to build a knowledge center and I want people to trust me, I needed to build kindness. I needed to build love unconditionally. Love people so that you can hear them, so that they're able to trust you with their story. I needed to build calmness. Oh my God, being angry and calm, it's like water and oil. And that has really taken time. I have also realized that family, when your family is not, you're not in the good spirit of family. So my February was so family driven, and the results of the 29 days of deeply connecting with family it shows for itself. I mean, even just by day 10 of the month, I could feel the family reconnection. Today, I know my children look for me more than I look for them, which is really big for me because I have adult children. It's really a plus, and that's just in one day. So family came very, very critical for me. And then I have been in this planning mode for so long, honestly. February, I was getting tired of just putting more and more detail in this plan. I'm a meditator and a prayer. So I just got this message, hey, Gladys, you've just been in this mountain enough. Tosha. So that's what my February is. And 1st of March, I hit the road running.
That is fantastic. So I infer that family is one of your non-negotiables.
Yes.
15 years from today, I'm speaking to your adult children. Yeah. And so your adults, you know, you mothers, you keep everyone your child. One of my aunties came to see us, and she is in her early ages. And she's talking to my mom, and she's like, my child, like, she has a child. So whose child? So 15 years from today, I'm talking to your children who are adult children. Gladys, what will they tell me about their mom?
First, they will say that their mom is a pillar of strength for them. They will also say it is only through their mom that they can go and tell their story and know that nobody else will bash them. They will also say, no matter where we are in the world, we can always go home. No matter what we've done out there, no matter who has judged us, we've won or lost, we can always go home. Because it's not the house, it's the person and the people we find there. If somebody wants to reset, if somebody wants to rebuild their career or, you know, think through what they want, mom's kitchen table, go there and sit down with her. That's the place I want them to have.
So how much room do you have to adopt? Because we all want to get adopted by you now at this point.
A lot of room, because that's why I'm building knowledge centers, because everybody needs this. But I have to first do it for my family.
Yeah. This is it's matriarchs. You don't know what kind of room you occupy. Every single time in the Bible that God did something, there was a matriarch involved. Right? Look at Moses. Moses would not have survived without two women involved. Pharaoh's daughter picked him from the river, right? It's even where the guests ended up enjoying wine at a wedding. It was a matriarch that was involved to ask Jesus, hey, Nyoraigwa, wine information, right? It's everywhere. Look at Ruth. There is no, if any dude had tried to approach the king on his throne, he would have been killed, but Ruth was able to go in there. The doors that matriarchs open are, some of them only matriarchs can open. And so you are positioning yourself to truly be a pillar that can last. Now, I wanted to ask you a question. So there are attributes of you that relate to how you interact with your family. But now, if I am asking them about an attribute that relates only purely to how you carry yourself without interacting with other people, just internally, like an attribute that is observed and it's just how you portray it as a person, what would that be?
Timeliness and showing up.
Why is timeliness important to you?
Because it shows commitment to what I value. Means when I keep time,
why is commitment important? Why is commitment important? So we are peeling, so it's just going to be the first few words will give me the answer for us to move to the next. So why is commitment important to you?
Commitment is important to me because I care.
Why is it important to care?
When you care, you connect deeply with somebody.
Okay, we are speaking with Gladys, so you're not telling me you. All right, so I want to take you back. So why is it, tell me, what does it mean to care for you? What does it mean for Gladys to care?
To care, it means to carry somebody along their journey.
Why is it important to carry other people along their journey for you?
I feel fulfilled that I am in that space that I can carry people along.
Why is fulfillment important to you?
It is important for me because it taps into who I am. I am a connector. I like to be fulfilled by connecting somebody else.
So you went straight to the why, which is fulfillment. And when we go back to connector, we are stepping back into identity. So that's like slightly stepping outside. So let's try and stay with. So what we need to figure out is that why you are creating knowledge centers, right? What is this powerful force that, what is this that deeply drives you? Connecting and helping people and carrying people is the reasons that are easy to get to and we can see. But what is it that is deeply in there that you would be willing to stake your entire life for because of it? And that's what we are trying to get to. If you think through all the hot seats we've done, everyone on the call, we always come down to fulfillment. What we are seeking for is something beyond the fulfillment that actually anchors it. What is the purpose of a mugumo tree? To be fulfilled. If the seed germinates, becomes a big tree, it is fulfilled. It has fulfilled it has manifested its seedfulness. An avocado tree manifests its seedfulness. A goat gets born and it grows up and says, meh, it has fulfilled itself. The question is, what else goes beyond that? So that I am not just an avocado or a mugumo tree or a goat. For me, it's different. It's not just growing and bearing fruit, but the purpose is, what is that drives me, that makes me different, that gives me a level of aliveness. Whatever I commit to, I will go all through. So let's go back to you. Fulfillment is everything leads to fulfillment. If you watch all the hot seats we do, everything leads to fulfillment. But the fulfillment will have a specific flavor that is dependent on what kind of instructions you are following, right? And what purpose you are here to serve. What does fulfillment mean to Gladys?
I'm getting stuck a bit there because I feel when I will be fulfilled is when I tap into what people have and give it to others. If I can't tip to what I have and I give it to somebody else, that fulfills me. So can I tap into what an older person has and give it to a child? So that's the knowledge transfer. But the feeling that I literally took Mogire's father's tailoring information and gave it to Mogire's grandchildren through a write-up or through a story recording. That's like amazing. So it's tapping into myself and others and giving it to somebody else.
Okay. Is it, I feel the passion. The passion, and I love it. I feel the passion. Unaweza rudi baadaye tafadhali, usizime nitazima baadaye.
And so I'm learning to feel deep. When I feel deep, then I can get people to give deep.
Yeah.
And that's what the Human Knowledge Transfer Center is all about.
Yeah.
It's not about writing, it's about giving the essence of who you are.
That is for me is very clear. It's at the functional level. That's very clear. I know your passion. Gladys, I've seen you on stage. I've seen you leading clubs and groups. It's the people you will be serving have no idea who is about to show up. So I know that part. What would it mean for you to not accomplish what you are going for? Let's see, what would the cost be if for some reason, God forbid, some reason you are not able to tap into and see the full manifestation of what is deeply within your heart? What would that mean to you?
Emptiness. Such
Why?
a blank emptiness that no amount of Bible reading will fill it, because there's Bible reading filling my emptiness.
Yeah.
But there'll be such a vacuum that, and you see, a vacuum never comes empty. So I don't know what would fill the vacuum that would shortchange. It's like trying to eat githeri and you really wanted to eat mokimo. It doesn't taste. You still go back and cook it because the vacuum will not go away. So I'd feel such emptiness.
So let's take another lens. What do you feel most driven to? Is it to give? Is it to help? And help here is in terms of, so if you were in an environment where you needed to care really deeply, right? Care really
Sorry,
deeply.
I didn't hear that.
Is my voice, my internet fluctuating? Are you hearing me okay?
Okay, say that again.
Are you hearing me okay now?
Yes, I am.
I'm trying to, I feel like you are in an amazing spot right now. Just stop here. You are in an amazing spot. We know you are pursuing fulfillment, and you are pursuing fulfillment that is not just based on you, but based on serving, on impacting other people. And it's fulfillment that is driven by care. Perhaps what we'll continue working on is for you to continue peeling and see whether there is a unique flavor that is hidden in there that will be the one thing that you can tap into. But you are already operating at a really, really deep level. You're no longer at the environment. Most of the planning we do is at the level of environment, behavior, and capacity. That's why we plan. All the plans, when you are planning and preparing, that's where you're preparing. Capacity, like, oh, I need to learn, I need to find this resource. All those are at environment, behavior, and capacity. And when it comes to making the decision, I think you say that you have been on this mountain long enough. That is a belief. You got a place where you are, you're like, this is enough. Belief is how you transition from operating at environment, behavior, and capacity level. Start tapping inside. And then the next level for you was picking up an identity that anybody knows you, who knows you knows that is your identity as a connector. It's you. If you ask me, I would say Gladys is an influencer through connection. That's very clear. So you are already through all the 5 external layers. We know where you stand across all those 5 external layers, and you are tapping into something deep. You are starting a project that will come with a ton of challenges and a ton of beautiful opportunities. It will come with both of those. And the deeper you tap into the why, the core, the more grounded you will be. Is my internet stable enough that all of you can hear me okay?
Yes.
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 Okay.
I'm going to take you to this place that I don't like going to, but it is, I hate. What do you hate that you are trying to solve? You hate seeing, or you hate witnessing, or you hate when so if it brings up resistance, we step out of it immediately.
No, I just hate it when we assume that we know more than the older people. I just hate it when the older person feels that we are so technologically connected that their skills are no longer needed. I see that we are going to go through this cycle of 40 years, and we have people who've already done that cycle and we are reading to it. I hate it when we want to read books from, sorry, you're an author, from international authors, but the solution is that right next to you in your grandmother's kitchen. I just hate that waste of opportunity. I hate it when children are below 12 years old and they go for a gathering and they're all on gadgets, and they're all these 70-year-olds who you just, by sitting next to him or her, you will learn something as a child that you can't. I just hate that wasted moment. I hate it when our older generations are not being asked for advice, but all they can do is to take an audio and record it. I hate that I didn't do anything about it. I just don't like it.
Yeah, you are set. You are set. Yes, you are set. You are ready. We know what you love, based on what you hate, and that it is very clear. It is not a hate that you are stuck to, rather it is giving you the drive to take the action you need. Yeah, we will not take it any further. I am loving the birds here. I'm just loving it. Yeah, it's beautiful. We will keep tabs with you and seeing, what the next steps are. Thank you, Gladys.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc.
Right, and we are going to get someone else. Its systems keep changing my order. Oh, we need to catch up with Eunice. Eunice Muturi.
Hi.
Hey, good morning, Eunice. So give us an update.
Okay, yeah, last time you really grilled me. Okay, unlike other people who were in the previous challenge and they can give an account of maybe what they have been doing, possibly for me it's different because I'm learning some things now, and you kindly bear with me. I like the way you have touched on the routines. To be honest, this is not something I have done, but I'm liking it because now you have told us exactly how to go about it. So it's something that I'm going to catch up, and I guess within a month I'll have something to show for it, or something that I can report. But I like the question you have repeated that you asked me the other day about what I hate about not having money. And I listened to a clip by Brian Tracy, and he said, of the many things he said that the minute you take what you do seriously, it will change. And I think that was a revelation to me, and I think that is where I'm beginning. That everything I do, I told you the line I am in, I'm going to take it so seriously that even the people around me will notice that I'm taking this seriously, and I'm sure I'll get results. I don't know whether I have answered the question.
Yeah, no, it's not a question and answer, just giving us an update. So I guess we will go with that for now. And so
Yes.
in other words, you're saying you will not be trying, you will be doing.
Yes. I've liked about the fundamentals and the non-negotiables. It's something I know. I'm one person who easily gets distracted, easily. So I know there's work to do.
I want you to remember what you said and actually think about it. Yes, that I get distracted. You've expressed it in a way that it's possible that there is an ingredient, a perception of your own identity about that. And anytime we have an identity that we have believed, even if it's subconsciously, that identity manifests. It shows up. There are people who never show up on time for appointments because they believe. I always run late. I'm a late comer. There are people who show up in a meeting and they don't contribute anything because they lived so much through the schooling system thinking I am a backbencher. It's once you adopt an identity, it's the first day I met Gladys at the Toastmasters Club in Nakuru, I knew she's a connector. She didn't need to tell me she's a connector because I could see how she is, she is acting, and she acting like that without thinking about it. The first time I interacted with James, I knew this guy is supposed to speak and write. He didn't need to tell me. I don't know in what realm, but so it's our identities have a way of showing up. So think about some of the things, for example, with getting distracted, figure out what emotion is your weakest point. And I want you to actually explore, the one emotion I want you to explore just based on my interactions with you, including the last hot seat. And this is something that I have struggled with, and it took me a long time to overcome it, overwhelm. And this is what overwhelm looks like. Sometimes overwhelm looks like starting another project when you're still on one, starting something else when you're still working on this one. So you end up having so much on your plate, and it's all meant for me to move forward. And this is for everyone on the call. Just think, overwhelm is one of the sneakiest detractors, where sometimes we get overwhelmed by very simple things, where we get overwhelmed because we have a to-do list that is so long, and we are not adaptable to give ourselves permission to push some things to tomorrow. I think it's Sylvia who shared as one of our reflections that she gave herself permission to push things to tomorrow. You see, sometimes we struggle to push things to tomorrow because we are guilty we haven't done enough today. If you do the big things today, it becomes easy for you to push the rest of the stuff to tomorrow. So explore if that shows up. It probably doesn't, or maybe it does. Just explore. For me, it was one of the things I had to overcome, especially at the beginning of my career. When you show up in the hospital, there are 15 patients waiting in the maternity ward, and I need to prioritize where do I start from. And I try to move really quickly instead of just focusing on one, get this done, and then move to the next one, and learning to delegate to clinical officers and nurses that I was working with so that they can help me. Let's keep there. So we'll keep following and seeing how Eunice is progressing. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Eunice. We get someone else on the hot seat. I'm hoping to find somebody new. Esther Irungu.
Good morning.
Good morning, Esther. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Thank you.
I can hardly hear you.
Oh, okay. And now?
It's still really low. And unfortunately, I'm right by a roadside, which is kind of noisy.
Okay. Am I audible now?
You are audible, still a bit low, but we can try to work with that. All right. So this month, what are you looking for towards in March?
I'm trying to come to terms with who I am. I want to be in control of my emotions. And as you've said, that I have to have the non-negotiable principles, because I've discovered that that's what I've been lacking in my life. As you said about distractors, I was so distracted. So I want to put things in place that I can be doing in the morning, so that when these other things, as I was saying, that unending chores are bombarding me with so many things I cannot do. So I'll set a way that I'll do things in the morning, like the 5 pillars that you've told us. And I think that way my March will be better than the rest of the month.
Do you work full-time, or are you in business?
I'm in business part-time, and
okay.
I'm also studying. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear the last bit. You said you are in business part-time and
studying.
Okay. Are you in a college or okay?
It's an online
okay.
course.
Online course. So the business that you are doing, so you are the MD, you are the HR, your finance, you are auditing, you're everything. right?
Not really. I've put someone in place. I just go to like take the stocks and I leave someone there.
Or you've hired somebody to do the business, to do the actual work for you.
Yeah.
Yes. So you are an employer, which means you actually are HR.
Maybe.
Yeah. Right. It's the employer you have, employee you have, right?
Yeah.
It's how amazing is their employer? What do you think the employee would want the employer to improve? We're not talking about you, we're just talking about the employer to your employee.
I think I'm the best. I think she thinks I'm the best because I gave her the freedom. She has the freedom to do whatever she wants. But maybe I'm a bit strict, especially when the maths don't add up. And sometimes I let my anger come up when things are not working. So I think she'd want an employer who's understanding and who's a bit understanding and like not letting anger to rise when things are not going well.
Yeah, yeah. So it's so you just, I mean, you're saying that employee think probably will have some things that the employer can improve, and the employer also has things that the employee can improve. It's, I think running a business is one of the most amazing grounds for personal. You are in a personal development university full time in your business, in relationship management, impulse management on a continuing basis, right? You are being tested on your level of trust, boundaries. You're being able to figure out where is the friendship line between me and my employee, and where is biashara and biashara. Drawing all those lines. That is an amazing opportunity that you have. Let's talk about the studying part. What are you studying? As if you're willing to share. What are you studying? What kind of schedule are you on for it?
Well, I'm doing digital marketing and web design. And I think that's where I have a problem because when I have the distractions, there are times I do not even do anything that day, do not study like that. The last week of February, I didn't study anything until on, I think yesterday. That's when I had some time to concentrate, like 10 to 15 minutes, and I didn't do anything substantial.
Yeah.
So I feel because it's not like what we used to do back in school, there's no one to monitor me. I feel like I can do what I want, and I want to have a grip of myself. And that's taking a toll on me because we started in January and so many people have already finished and even graduated, but I'm still here. I'm still in module 4. I've not finished. And sometimes I feel like the assignments are too hard for me. And when something hard comes to my life, I usually put it at the back seat. It'll have to take some time. I can even take a week before I go back to that. So I think that's where I have an issue.
Why are you pursuing this courses?
I wanted to understand about marketing my business online. And I thought instead of giving people to do it for me, because the ones I used to give, there were no results. So I felt I needed to have an understanding of how the digital market works so that I can take my business online, do it fully, and also maybe supplement on my income by working for other people, by marketing their business online. That's why I took the course.
If I put you in an office, I put you in an office and it's called Esther Irungu Consulting, and I'm coming and I have people come to your office and we spend an hour with you, okay? And I need to pay you, compensate you for your time. For each hour they show up and spend an hour with you. How much would you command right now? How much would you be worth paying for in terms of cost per hour? It's not what you want. It is where you are today, right now, your set of skills, your level of knowledge, and how much value you are able to give to people. how much would you charge people such that they still continue coming per hour of your time?
To say the truth, I don't think I've scaled up that much. Yeah, I still don't have the capacity to like put your business there and get the customers. So if I say you pay me this amount of money, you'll feel ripped off because I'll not give you the looking for.
In 7 days of, let's say 7 days have gone by, right? 7 days have gone by. You've not achieved anything that you wanted, to achieve. How much, in terms of monetary terms, how much is that a cost to you? How much do you lose in 7 days of no activity, of no progress?
I really can't quantify that.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that is holding you back, because your time is mentally right now, your time does not equate to a financial equivalent. And yet in 4 or 5 years from today, there is an amount of money that you will have lost. But if that is not clear, if we had a figure to start with, then when you are studying whatever you are studying, we are trying to increase this figure to something else. And then it makes the progress that you need to make tangible, right? If you were to ask me, the first thing for you to do right now is to actually put that course on hold and just go back into the business and see what you can do with what you have and start really moving the business. And anytime you spend away from the business, right? Anytime you spend away from the business, it has to be justified by what return it's going to add to the business. It's when I started working as a medical officer, that's when I realized just what my time was worth per hour. And I decided that that's not what I'm going to allow myself to be worth or going forward. I'm going to find a way to increase the value. I started earning more money doing coaching, working as a physician, except coaching is very exhausting when you do it one-on-one with people. It's very exhausting, almost like you're like a therapist. And then I decided I'm going to take a different shape, and that's when I looked for other opportunities to go to the UK and now to go to the US to find training that increases my value the most that can be. If what you are doing is not geared towards increasing the value that you can command per hour, it's probably, you'll probably treat it as entertainment. And that's why it's just like turning on Citizen TV. You turn it on, if something else comes on, you leave it playing in the background and you go do something else and then you come back to it. What the question is, I want you to ask yourself this question: how much, if somebody was to pay you to spend an hour with you in 2025, how much would you say they need to pay to spend an hour with you without thinking? If you ask me right now, I will not think. I will tell you how much that is going to be, and it's how somebody responds to it. I'm like, no, I know how much I've invested in the journey that I've walked to where I am right now. So that's how much you're going to pay to spend an hour with me. And that is how you stop trying. You are trying to learn online marketing, right? You are trying to learn. You can stop trying to learn and actually start learning. And there are several alternatives in terms of what you can accomplish with this. If my recommendation, and I'm talking to you as your coach, if you do not find enough compelling reason for you to actually delve deep and even tackle those tough assignments, perhaps it might be easier for you to strive. You found one team that didn't do well. There are amazing online marketers out here. Amazing, many amazing online marketers. Maybe you go on Fiverr.com and find a consultant so that they tell you what you need to do, and you try and implement that so that you don't waste time. You don't be somebody at your business and then you go away and then you waste time. You're losing money two directions: to an employee and then to distracted. And I'm speaking to you directly so that because this is what we have to talk about to help you really move forward. Let's increase the value of each of your hours, so that any day you spend the entire day and you haven't done anything, we know how much you've lost that day. Any week, we can look at the week and say, this week you lost 45,000 Kenyan shillings. There is an actual figure attached to it. And that way, any single time, for example, you're on social media, you've been there for 30 minutes, you're like, oh, I have already lost 2,500 Kenyan shillings, because you know the actual value of your hour. And you begin to view yourself like that. If you are employed, look at the salary they give you, calculate it down to the hour, and then you know how much they pay you per hour. The goal is, how can we increase the value of that hour going forward so that you don't remain stuck there? So that when you're taking action with a very clear direction. If I am spending 10 hours away from my family at some workplace, it better be worth it. Because I'm denying my children an hour, another hour of my time. If I am running my own business and I'm leaving my family behind to go into this business, it better be worth it. It better be worth it. It better be worth it, because I'm coming back with value. I'm coming back with lessons. I'm coming back better. I'm coming back stronger because of what I'm learning, but also what I'm doing in that business. Otherwise, it becomes a waste. It's a waste on both ends. I am wasting their time by denying them my time with them and going away. And then I'm going away and wasting time there. I'm losing from both ends. I'm not only not learning, but I'm also losing money every hour that passes by. So this is a tough what's it? But these are things we have to grapple with. Is that?
Yeah.
So we will follow up. This March is the time to actually redefine what those lines are. The fundamentals, that's a conversation that everyone, once you hear it, it's your goal, your role is to actually start acting on it. But then now on this other side, you are creating a story, right? We are creating a story. This is a tough conversation, right? This is a tough conversation. I would rather you lose money on only one end. You go back into the business and you start working with this person and see how you can expand the business. Or maybe you don't need them. Maybe it's you who needs to actually be in that business, so you can actually fully invest it. And perhaps the money you pay them, you start finding somebody else to actually do the online marketing for you. I don't know what the actual circumstances are, and we won't be able to get to it right now. But we start the journey. We start the journey going forward. So thank you, Esther. You've taken the hot seats with so much courage. We're gonna go to our last person, and then we will close the day. Please log in tomorrow for check-in and share your nuggets with each other. I was gonna find someone else who has not been on our Florence. Let's go with Florence Kamau. Good morning, Florence.
Good morning, Doc.
How are you?
Everyone else. I'm fine, thank you.
Right, March. Tell me about your March. What are we looking at?
March looks bright. I'm all charged with new energies and ready to take forward the lessons that I've learned in February. I intend to take my tomorrow afternoon to stake talk on how I've performed in my February and where I got stuck or I underperformed, and make the necessary mitigations.
What are your top two lessons from top two insights that you are practically applying? Yes. What are your top two insights that you are practically applying from February? Practically applying. Let's go.
The two things that I can say I am practically doing, yes. I have been consistent in my daily morning resets and reflections of the day. Every morning I show up in the same spot and I do my reset. I wake up the same time every day, Monday through Sunday, and I'm continuously rehearsing on my morning routines. And the evening, I try to sleep the same hour every evening. And I can say if I don't adhere to that, my body is really hitting me hard, because I will start dozing off. And even during the day, the amount of time that I delayed to sleep with, I find myself dozing to recover. So I have to remain disciplined, because I don't want to walk into a meeting and I am dozing off. And I've also come up very well with my exercises. I'm not yet there, but I can say it's a step on the right direction. If I may share, I've been having a back problem for quite a long time, but it had never clicked or occurred to me that it could be as a result of my prolonged hours of sitting. But when we started the challenge and you talked of physical activity, I said, wait a minute, I need to get an activity that I am consistently doing. And out of that, I took an initiative to every day after lunch, I walk for 15 minutes, just walk around where I work, and then I go back to the office and I sit. And I said, after I work for like an hour, I stand up, I stretch, I can reflect on what I am doing while I'm standing for just 5 minutes. And then I sit and I continue. And that has given me tremendous results. Last weekend, I was out of town and I managed to sit and drive for 3 hours nonstop. Something that I had not done in a long time. Because I would reach a point, I get really tired, I can't sustain. I have to stop, stretch up, and then regain and continue. And that for me was amazing. So that's some of the things that I can say have really worked for me. Another thing, I said every morning when I wake up, I need a scripture for the day. So I will get a scripture that will carry me through the day. And even when things appear like they are not going on the way I had planned, I'll be meditating upon that scripture. It gives me the strength and it helps me refocus and move on. And like this morning when I woke up, the scripture that got into my mind is who can make straight that which is crooked. That is in the book of Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 13. And the response is, it's God who can make straight that which is crooked. And now, today as I walk out and face my day, I know it is being straightened by the Lord. And even if something appears not to be working for me, I'll be knowing that there is that push that's coming from God and things will align. So that consistency has really helped me, and being intentional and committed and accountable. Yes.
Thank you very much. That's among the new people who joined, you have been one of the most consistent, and I applaud you for that. This is for everybody on the call. So have you ever had any injury to your back? Any injuries at all? Have you ever suffered any injury to your back?
No.
Or the pain? Yes. So back pain, the kind of back pain you're having is back pain due to muscle spasm.
Yes. All the scans have done, that's what they have shown.
Yep, it's just muscle. It's just the muscle. Because you sit, sitting, the way we sit is not natural, especially now that we sit and we hang over working on a computer. So it's just muscle, that muscle gets so tight. So when you start moving, you loosen up that muscle. What is the simplest, most effective way to loosen the muscles of the back? Anybody? The easiest exercise is to loosen walking. So when you walk a lot, the muscles keep your spine straight. So that doesn't.
Stretching.
Stretching. So the thing about stretching is you have to do certain types of stretching for the back.
Squat.
Okay. Question: what muscle causes the most tension on your back when you have backache? This is extremely important because we are all addicted to the drug of sitting down continuously for several hours. The muscle is not a muscle on your back. The one that causes the most trouble on your back is not on the back. It's at the back, but it's not on the back. It's called the gluteus. The gluteus. Muscles. Yes. Those muscles that you sit on, right? So when you're sitting for so long, you put pressure on that muscle, it starts contracting, and then it transmits that tension upwards to your back. One of the simplest things you can do, if you do it consistently on a daily basis, just go up 3 sets of stairs. That's it. 3 sets of stairs. When you do that, you force yourself to kind of lean forward a little bit automatically. And as you go up every stair, you stretch that muscle. Just think of yourself going up the stair. You stretch up that muscle. If you go up on a set of stairs, at least 2 or 3 floors every single day, you will automatically relax that muscle. You and I, the generation we live in, our grandparents started getting backache when they were in their 70s. We are not waiting for 70s, we are in a hurry. And that's because we sit all the time, right? So I'm very happy for you, Florence, to find a solution for your back, and you just need to sustain it. Just need to sustain it, and your back will no longer be an issue for you. With regards to personal goals, what is your most central goal this year?
Okay. This year, at the start of January, so much had happened in my life in 2023. To an extent, I had not planned for 2024. And when I joined the Momentum Challenge, for me, I can say it was my transformational moment. I joined the challenge on 16th of January, and you talked about the 4 Ds that eventually you get to the 5th D. And after that, I came home and I got a moment of reflecting. And I resonated with everything that you said. And I could pinpoint my pain points and the things that made my life get to where it was at that point.
Yeah.
And I determined to put strategies down to turn around. And I had intended to get into a business of milling. And I encountered some discouragement, and I stopped and I abandoned it. And I revisited it. Now I am doing my business proposal, refining it, evaluating it, and I have decided to take more time and put the beef and make sure it's fully refined and ready to go. I have also been doing my feasibility survey on where to set up, because initially the site I had identified developed some legal issues, which I've realized they are pulling me back and I need to be on track. I am also getting the experts, the people I need to work with, and the people who I need to handhold me in the whole process. And I have also put the faces on how I want to progress. So that's what basically I've been doing. And I've also, as I have been listening to the many people who've been on the hot seat, I have kept asking myself the why. Why do I want to do it? I know it's not going to be a walk in the park. It's going to have its highs and its lows. And I've kept on asking myself, why do I want to move out of, to bite whatever it is I intend to bite? And I have come to realize it's a great desire to see lives transformed. It's something that is greater than Florence.
Yeah.
It's something that I am not doing to bring me immediate gains. I am doing this because I want to see lives transformed. I want to put a smile on people's faces.
Why is that important to you?
It is important because I feel it's living not only for me, but also living for others. Why
is it important? So
myself,
this is so let's do let's do this segment. So I'm going to interrupt you quite frequently.
Okay.
So why is it important for you to put a smile on other people's faces?
Because happiness to others expands me. So me, I am looking at it as at what do I gain after I've put the smile on other people's faces. It will be expanding, Florence.
So I want us to flip. So the gaining after you've put, that is the outcome. We are looking at the cause. What is it causing? What is it that is causing you to want to put a smile on other people's faces?
Okay, I'll answer it this way. In the course of my undertaking,
I'm so sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. It's 7:33. I'd hoped today we'll finish on time. I'm going to bear in mind to bring you back on the hot seat. This is going to require a bit of time. Make sure I don't want us to get into it and rush you through it. But in the meantime, think about it. Somebody's microphone is unmuted. Think about in terms of the why, and it's going to be several layers of why. Every single time you find your why starting with a because, that is still at the slightly superficial level. We are trying to go as deep as we can. We're trying to go deeper. Okay. Yeah. We will revisit. I'm going to. Yeah. Thank you, Florence. We will revisit. We won't be able to finish the rest of it.
Okay,
thank you for the update you've given us in terms of what you are doing. This place now looks very different, which is good. And now you can see my outline, not just my teeth. So I thank everyone. Florence, thank you so much. Thank you everyone that was on the hot seat, especially Esther Irungu, because that was a difficult hot seat. You took it like a champ. I want to thank you. Thank you everyone that has been on this call. We won't have enough time to do reflection here, but reflect on the WhatsApp group, and I will send you the evaluation link. And then tomorrow, log in and have a 30-minute conversation with other people about the key things that you picked today. Do not be deceived by the fact that the work we are doing can sometimes look like on surface. We are, I can't even begin to tell you, we are doing some really important work. Do not allow appearances to deceive you.